Oh my gosh. REM takes me back to college. Yikes.
College? You never went to college?
No, I did, Dave.
Did you?
Can you believe that?
My
1991. Oh my God.
Good God. Well, they had
I'm so old.
They had the wheel then, didn't they, in the penny farthing?
I did. I borrowed my dinosaur to class.
Which was nice. Very much
yeah.
so.
So, Jonathan, Dave, Jonathan.
A very good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. I'm very well. I've just got all the curtains and my Velux open now, trying to get my vitamin D in, so I don't cut my lifespan down. Now I've been speaking to Lorraine this morning.
I heard that. I did not realize how important vitamin D was, and I'm now going to spend some time outside today.
I know. I'm moving into the greenhouse, me. I'm putting the studio in the greenhouse. That's it. If I come looking like
awesome.
If I look like Barack Obama in 3 weeks' time, you know why?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, anyway, what we're talking about today?
I say this every week, but I feel like I am like a tree topper every week because I'm so excited to have Jonathan Darling here with me today. And I have the best story to tell y'all how we met. And then we're just going to talk about some leadership stuff, some awesome things about community, connection, all those things. So let me tell you a little bit about Jonathan and how I met him.
Right, go for it.
He was on Facebook Live. I think it was one of Ryan Hartley who was on last week. So there's this big connection thing that's going to happen here. And I thought to myself, I was watching this dude talk about love and leadership. I was like, that's the same guy that was on Coach JJ and Luke's live like last night. So I was like, okay, this is like blowing my mind. And so I think I was the only one watching at the time because it was in a weird time of the day. And afterwards, we kind of messaged back and forth. And Jonathan said, yeah, it was really, really cool. I got to, swing down to Austin on my way to Denver for this, business trip. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. I'm like only 40 minutes away from Denver. And I'm in Longmont. We should have coffee if you just happen to have some time. And he's like, no way. I'm going to be in Longmont. And so we're like, it's meant to be. So we made this appointment to meet at the Starbucks. And I swear to God, I sprinted across that Starbucks just to give this guy a hug because he's so phenomenal. And I think people around us were like, what a bunch of wackies. But we had the best conversation. What's that?
I said, yeah, nutters.
Yeah. I was like
a scene out of a film.
Yeah, it probably was like, from an onlooker, they're probably like, who's this wackadoo that this woman is running across Starbucks? But anyway, and it's become this really amazing friendship, and Jonathan is an amazing dude. And so, I'll let you, Jonathan, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we have, just a little, almost an hour-ish, 45 minutes, and we're going to dive into some really awesome content. So, Jonathan, tell us about you.
Yeah, well, the story of how we met, really, a lot of people are just like, wow, that's the craziest thing ever that you would randomly go and meet someone that you met on Facebook. But it really was incredible. But, I consider myself just a normal guy who's trying to make an ordinary guy who's trying to make an extraordinary impact on the world. And, I'm an aspiring leadership speaker and a father and a husband, and I'm just somebody who I kind of talked about this last night. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm more of a heartrepreneur. I'm all about building the heart and helping grow people's hearts in love and leadership.
That's awesome. And that's cool because that's another sort of connection that we have, wholehearted life, the heartbeat, and now you're a heartrepreneur, which is so cool. How did you come up with that? Is that just something that happened last night in the organic conversation?
Yeah, it was a conversation I was having with somebody, and they were like, well, tell me, are you trying to build this business, or are you trying to be an entrepreneur? And I was like, no, really, man, everything I'm doing is honestly just about helping grow people's hearts. So I guess you could say I'm a heartrepreneur. And it just kind of came out, and it just I kind of liked it, so it stuck.
Yeah. Oh, how fun is that? And you have, we can talk about this a little bit, and you have a Facebook page that you've just created, and it's all about, engage the heart. So This is going to be super fantastic conversation. I want to go to a quick song, and then I want to come back and give you some more due diligence. So our first song is going to be Phil Collins, Two Hearts. Imagine that, right?
Wow.
You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
Right, we're going back live to Christine and to Jonathan.
Dave, did you plan that?
No.
The Two Hearts, you didn't?
No, mate, you plan anything, you've got to be kidding, haven't you? I'm the most unplanned person going.
Well, then it was just meant to be. Like, that is just like, okay, we're talking about hearts, and then this song comes on.
I asked someone once, did you plan Christmas? And I'm thinking, because there's no way in a month of Sundays I could arrange Christmas every year. It's just a nightmare, isn't it, eh? Tree. You've got what point in the year, apart from Christmas, who'd think, right, you've got to go out and buy a tree from somewhere, and then you've got to buy all this food that you don't normally eat during the rest of the year. I mean, bread sauce, what's that all about? We make sauce out of bread. Cranberry sauce. And then you've got all this other stuff that you think, where's this appeared from? So there must be companies appearing around the world that pop up that say, we only work once a year to make this stuff for the 25th of December.
Right, yeah, cranberry sauce is only for the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, and turkey. A bird that's that dry, that's tasteless, but everyone eats it at Christmas. I mean, you don't have that in the summer, do you? Oh, must have a barbecue with turkey on it. Got to have that. You know, non-existent, is it? And who else during the week rolls your sausage in bacon? Never in a month. You don't see that in a frying pan, do you? On a Sunday morning, you're having a full fry up. Anyway, that's enough of me rolling on with one.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so, Jonathan, I have a quick question for you, and I want to give you some time to sort of answer this.
Sure.
Tell your story or your why or your purpose, and maybe, like, how you decided that and where you're rolling with that.
So it actually goes back, and I won't take you so far back, but, you know, I grew up a typical American family, really. And my parents were divorced when I was really young and moved pretty far away from my dad and you know, grew up really poor, paid my way to go to college. And honestly, just throughout my life, I never really had anyone who was not that no one didn't believe in me, but there wasn't like this sense to like overachieve and to really like go out and take risk and take chances and push me. And honestly, when I went to college and I was there, my life was really just kind of a spiral and just searching for anything that potentially would bring meaning to my life. And it kind of showed up in a lot of very negative ways. And for a long time in my life, there was just a lot of people who would say that I was never going to make anything out of myself. I was going to be a loser. And I remember this catalyst in my life of a girl that I was dating that I thought I was going to marry at one point, that her mom said, you know, if you were to ever marry Jonathan, you will have to be taking care of him because he's a loser, and you'll be living in a trailer, eating off of paper plates and drinking out of plastic cups for the rest of your life because he's never going to make anything out of himself. And there had been this, and then even since then, there was just this long line of people just honestly telling me who I was and what I was never going to be. And it wasn't until about 14, 15 months ago that I just really decided I wanted to change the narrative of my life. There was, you know, all of these people. I started writing blogs on leadership and different things, and I had left this company, and the president and CFO of the company were making up fake email addresses to comment on my blogs about just all this negative, like horrible stuff. And about 15 months ago, I went on this walk. I read this book called Unbreakable by Tom Shea, and he talks about this thing called the 24-hour challenge, where you go and walk for 24 hours to learn how to control your negative inner dialogue and really see that you're capable of a lot more. And I went on that walk, and I'm telling you, it, like a light switch, it changed my life. And I just decided that from now on, my goal was to be the type of leader that was the catalyst for self-belief in other people's lives. And that's where kind of my whole mission and my whole thought process around leadership kind of started, and kind of how we got to where we are today.
I love that story. We talked about that when we had our nice meeting in the middle of Starbucks. And, I think what's really cool about this, and here's my question, and since you're just starting on your journey, do you believe that purpose, or quote unquote your why, changes over time?
I definitely do. And I think we have I just wrote a blog article about this. I think we have a very misunderstanding of purpose, that we have a tendency to look at purpose as a position or a destination, and we search for our purpose in companies, in a role, in a position, that we can't live out our purpose until we have X, whether that's finances or whatever. But I believe we've all been ingrained with the same purpose in our life, which is the connecting with and building relationship with other people and loving and caring for other people. The avenue in which that purpose plays out, of connecting and loving others and helping build up others, is going to change with the season as we continue to grow and learn and develop. So I definitely think purpose adapts and changes. I think the core of purpose is always there, but the avenue in which we do it is a constant variable that'll change.
Oh, yes, I agree with you. And you talked a little bit about connection and community, and I know that you are a big part of the Depression to Extinction, which we've talked about probably every episode the last month-ish with Coach JJ and Luke and Ryan and now you. And how did you get connected with them quickly?
That's the most random story ever. I had never ran a race in my life. Like, I'd not been a runner. I would have said that I was not a runner, but I decided to run my first race as a 50K ultra trail marathon. And through preparing for that, I randomly got reached out to by, JJ and Luke on Instagram saying, hey, do you want to be an ambassador athlete with our nonprofit since you're a runner? And I had to explain to them over and over again, I've never ran a race in my life. You really want a guy who's never been a runner to be an ambassador athlete for a group that is made up of mostly runners? And it was the greatest thing that's probably ever happened to me from a community standpoint. And it's just been incredible that I've been a part of it, and just the things that I've been able to do because of it.
That's awesome. And we're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to continue talking about community. I want to talk about a little bit more about why you've chosen leadership and the heart and love, and how that kind of got our conversation going. So when we come back after Ollie Murr's Right Place, Right Time, we're going to dig right in.
You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
Right, we're going back live to the guys this morning.
Right Place, Right Time is today.
It's here on Expat Radio in 35 degrees and more of sunshine, because I'm trying to get my vitamin D. I'm fluorescent now. I'm glowing that much.
You're going to be so tan. You're going to, yes, I can feel that you're going to be the healthiest Dave ever.
Everyone's going to call me Magic Johnson in France. I'm going to be that tan, seriously. I'm going to look tremendous.
Well, you're tall enough. Almost.
No, flipping it. You'd have to put another person on my shoulders to be as big as him. Flipping it. I'm not that big. I'm not built like a block of flats. I mean, I can't see the sea from our house, and that's only 4 foot away. I've got a grass view.
Oh my goodness.
I tell you what, there was a busload of dwarfs turned up at a club once, in the nightclub when I was DJing in Manchester, and they were parking up and they were all getting out, and it was a stag do, and one of the guys stood next to me. He said, how far away are they? That's how small they were.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, bless. Anyway, on that note, I'll shut up.
All right. So here we are. Thank you. So Jonathan, why leadership? Why is that your go-to?
Because I believe everything starts and finishes with leadership. And, when I got into the corporate world and was still trying to kind of find my way and trying to learn about who I was and what I was wanting to accomplish in this world and kind of different things and goals, I had some people that I looked at that I thought truly loved me and truly cared about me, and some people that I thought were great leaders. And when I decided to leave the company that I was with to take on a new challenge after, almost 6 years, just the things that they were doing and the things that they were saying and making up these fake email addresses and like the most derogatory things that you could say to someone who was trying to just share a message or just write down their thoughts really started making me think about, for me, what true leadership was and what it looked like and how I would want to be if I was a leader. And so it just kind of stuck, and it just became something that I just became so super passionate about because I love people and I care about people so much. And to me, that's what being a leader is all about more than anything else. And so it just became a part of me. I think it's always been a part of me, but now it's a part of me that I've learned to be able to share.
Wow. And so, what, like when we talked a little bit earlier about Engage the Heart, that's your new Facebook like pursuit. How does that fit into leadership?
So, for me, leadership is love, and it's truly loving and caring for others and being able to influence positive change in someone else's life. And when you love someone, that has to come from the heart. That has to be sincere. And most of the time, people don't really care about things unless their heart is in it. And so for me, it was just kind of one of those things. When you engage the heart, you turn on the heart. It's an action word that is to go after or to turn on or to involve the heart. And for me, when I think about leadership and how we should be leading and developing others and caring for others, we have to do that from the heart. So we need to engage the heart in everything that we do. And it just kind of made its way from there.
Yeah. When I was watching your live on Ryan's Always Better Than Yesterday, I think I watched it probably 10 times. There's this one part where you take a passage out of the Bible, love is kind, love is patient, and you replaced it with leadership. And that was so powerful for me. Did that just come to you one day, or like that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Well, I'm very passionate about my faith as well. And I was just kind of reading some different things and just having a conversation around love and around leadership. And we had been talking about this passage, and I had read this passage, and it just kind of was like, well, I wonder what would happen if I truly believe that leadership is love. I wonder what would happen if I use most people's definition for love when they're standing at an altar getting ready to get married. If you replace love with leadership, would that verse still hold true? Would that still make sense? And when you actually read it out and replace that with leadership, and it goes through and says leadership always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, it always perseveres. Leadership never fails. It just made so much sense to me. And so then I started breaking it down. Well, what does each one of those look like? What does leadership being patient look like and being kind look like? And it just really just kind of flowed once it got started. And it's probably been my most commented on or talked about article that I've written on leadership, which has been really cool. And it was kind of the first time that I was able to kind of intertwine my faith and what I believe in from a spiritual aspect with what I believe in from a business leadership standpoint. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think I probably watched it and I showed it to everyone that I saw for like a week straight. I'm like, y'all got to see this. Check this out. This is brilliant. I know we talked a little bit about, before this, like being authentic, and how does authenticity show up in this type of leadership?
So authenticity is a word that a lot of people use and a lot of people talk about. Like, it's one of those buzzwords now, right? And for me, when it comes to truly loving and caring for someone with, and being able to influence positive change in their life, you can't do that unless you're sincere and authentic about who you are and that you're trying to help someone else. And there's a great quote by Lou Sal that says, sincerity is felt from one heart in someone else's. And so it's something that being authentic is something that you can't fake. You have to be yourself. You can't be anybody else. And if you are, that's going to break down someone's ability to be able to trust you. But I think it goes a step farther when we not only have to be authentic with ourselves and be who we truly are, but then we also have to be transparent and vulnerable. It's great if we are who we are, because that's the only person we can be. But if you're not vulnerable to let other people in and be a part of that, and transparent to be able to show that out to others, then being your authentic self doesn't matter, because no one will know it.
Yep, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So let's take a quick break. We're going to go out to Take That Giants. Some sort of prankster going on here.
Very much so.
I figured.
You figured what?
You're winding me up, Dave. You're winding me up.
Winding you up and let you go.
Are we going to the song?
Going to the song. You're back off the song. You're back live now.
What? Dave.
You're live.
I am live. I know I'm live, but we didn't play any songs.
We did.
We did?
Yes.
Oh, well, we didn't play, so maybe Jonathan and I's conversation was gone for a while.
Right. Didn't you hear anything at that end?
No.
Oh, my God. I don't know what was happening there, then.
I don't know either. I'm not sure. But anyway, so we're back on live now, so we've been chatting. I don't know what people have heard, but we will keep chatting.
They've heard the music playing.
There was no music playing.
Wasn't there?
At all. No.
Well, I'm just checking the broadcast now. We've been broadcasting unless there's an issue. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can keep chatting it away. It's not a big deal.
Bit strange, that.
It's very strange. But that's okay. Okay. Should we keep going, Dave?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. I'll find out what's going on.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. So, I'm not sure if anybody heard, but we talked a little bit about tattoos. We talked a little about what inspires Jonathan, what authenticity meant. And so I guess a couple of more questions, and we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. Do you consider yourself inspirational?
I don't know. I've been told that I am, and that I have inspired a few people. I've had a few messages, but I don't know, Chris. I would say that, again, I'm just an ordinary guy who's choosing to live and try to be extraordinary and make the biggest difference that I can. So I don't necessarily say that or know that I'm inspirational to people, but what I try to do every single day when I do my Facebook lives, when I'm interacting with people, even if it's at the gas station when I'm buying water, I'm trying to do everything I can to make those moments with people to love them and care about them and build them up the best that I possibly can. One of my favorite things I tell people is we are all in the construction business. Every single day we either have an opportunity to build people up or tear them down, but it's just up to us to choose our tools. And every single day in every single action, I try to be the builder. I try to be the person that is being an encourager and being someone who is trying to help create that self-belief in others. So I don't know if that's inspiring, but I just know I'm trying to do everything I can to help others see what's been put inside of them.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. I believe that you're inspirational. I know we kind of talked a little bit about this, like coming on a radio show to talk about this stuff is like, you know, who am I? I'm just, you know, Chris Saunders to do this. I'm just Jonathan Darling. Who am I to do this? And I feel like that's sort of like a kind of a normal first thought. You have amazing content. You have amazing story. You have amazing things to say to people. So not that you needed to hear that this morning, but I just wanted to tell you that.
I appreciate that.
So one question really fast is, what scares you the most?
Not living up to who I was created to be. It honestly frightens me every single day. I believe that there was something put down deep inside of me and that I was made for a reason and a purpose. And it's even hard for me to talk about with almost tearing up. I lived a long time in my life just believing I was made for nothing. And, you know, knowing now that there's a reason why I'm here and there's a mission for why I'm here on earth, my biggest fear is not accomplishing that and not being that person. Sorry, I didn't mean to get too up there.
No, please. There's no need for apologies. I feel like you are living this purpose. You're living, you know, what you're, you know, this journey, this walk that you went on. Something happened. Do you know at what moment something shifted for you?
Oh yeah. Like, you know, the guy who wrote this book, he's a Navy SEAL and he's a tough man. And he goes on this walk with you. Like, he just did another one this past October. And I remember, you know, from about 3 o'clock to about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, when it's in the middle of the night and it's pitch black and you're walking with these people, there was everything in my head that was bringing up every past mistake, every past comment of people telling me that I was a quitter, that I was a loser, that I would never make anything out of my life, that I have no clue what leadership is because I'm not a leader. I'll never be a leader. And every part of me wanted to quit. My body hurt. My legs hurt. My brain was just fried from just thinking about wanting to quit. And I remember I saw the sun coming up over the trees. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and the sun started cresting the trees, and just a switch flipped inside of me, and it said, you've done this. Like, you're 2 hours away from finishing this, and you haven't quit. You're still going. If you can do this, there isn't anything that you can do. And it completely changed my life. It's what propelled me to go out and try to run a 50K for my first race ever. It's propelled me to start taking more opportunities to be more bold about what I want to share. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning of that 24-hour walk, being 22 miles in, and my life changed.
That's super inspirational, Jonathan, super inspirational. So we're going to take one quick last song break, and we're going to come back and tell everyone where they can find you. So we're going to go out to Justin Timberlake, Soulmate. Oh, my goodness. JT, I feel like he's on every time I'm on, and it's fantastic.
I was doing me salsa there. I need
with
a
your
new hip
vitamin
replacement.
D soaking in.
Yeah, well, I need my new hip replacement very soon as well. That's gotta happen. Not a good look. Not when you're trying to get me on my mobility scooter outside every Tuesday when I'm trying to go to bingo. Break my neck trying to get off it.
Oh my gosh! Don't hurt yourself, Dave.
Oh.
Don't do. We need you. Don't do that.
Well, what I'm thinking of doing is putting a trampoline at the side of it. You know, one of these small ones that you can get. So if I manage to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to launch myself off the step, out of the house, launch myself onto the trampoline, jump up, and then land on the mobility scooter. The only problem is, I'm just thinking of my nut cluster. That's another thing I've got to get around. So
you got to protect that.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I'm thinking what I can use to protect it. I've gone through all the drawers in the house thinking what's going to be good enough for here. About 4 pairs of socks that can go over the top of the old...
Just get you an athletic supporter.
Well, I might do. The thing is, it's easier, perhaps, if I land on my back. And then you can roll forward, can't you? Get on it, and then you're away. But some of these mobility scooters, there's a lot of mirrors on them. And if you get your legs wrapped around these mirrors on the handlebars, all hell can break loose. I'll end up with my legs facing back to front and all sorts. Won't look good.
That's not a sight.
So if you're watching CBS News next week and you see a news flash coming from France with me on a mobility scooter going up the road, you know it's me, and I'll wave at you.
It's you.
Yeah. With my eyebrows up to my fringe, looking very, very shocked because I've obviously had a bad landing off this trampoline. Sounded like Sweetie Pie. Nice to see you.
Oh goodness. So Jonathan, tell people where they can follow you and find you, and what's up next for you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, the Jonathan Darling. You can look me up on Facebook through Engage the Heart, or through my own personal Facebook page, Jonathan Darling. Just look for the bald guy with a beard. There's apparently more than one Jonathan Darling out there, but there's only one me, and it's a bald head with a beard. And you can actually reach me through my website, which is thejonathandarling.com. And it's got a place where you can, read my articles, which I'm trying to move more of my articles over to the website. And it's got my phone number on there, which is probably weird, but it's got a place where you can email me and send me messages and connect with me there if you want to learn a little bit more. And what's next for me, honestly, Chris, is I spent a lot of time in my hotel room last night. I'm traveling for work, reaching out to different organizations that are looking for speakers. And I'm really wanting to do a lot more speaking. I have a few events that are scheduled for early next year, but that's really kind of my goal, is to do a little bit more speaking and share the message of love and leadership and what leadership truly is. And that's really kind of what I'm trying to do.
I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, Jonathan, so much for coming on with me today. I know I feel inspired. I know the world has now gotten a flavor of you, and I just know that big things are going to come. So I really appreciate your time today, early in the morning.
It's been awesome. This has been a blast, and I'm very humbled and honored to be a part.
Awesome.
You're a
Thank
star,
you,
pal.
Dave.
You're a star.
What was that?
I said he's a star.
He is a star.
Oh, come on, Dave.
Seriously, you're a star, mate. For you to come on live radio like that and talk about, open up your heart and come out with what you've come out with there, you're a star. You're a gentleman.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the platform. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, mate. You're welcome.
Awesome. All right. Thank you both. We're going to go out with Pharrell Williams. Happy and have an awesome day.
Because I'm bang, 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 bang.